What is happening, YouTube? How y'all doing today? It is Monday. Just your average Joe hanging out in the garage. Y'all know what we got going on today. We got some sales to cover. We got some comments to go over. If you haven't hung out with me before, my name is Joe. Again, just your average Joe. We go all raw and unedited here. I've been reselling full time on eBay for about 8 years, but been buying and selling stuff on eBay since 2000. So 24, going on 25 years. Craziness. Crazy I've been on eBay that long, but appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Sales are starting to kind of trend down at this point. We did hit goal just barely. If you haven't been with me before, my goal is 1,400 for the week. We've been smashing goal the past 3 weeks or so, hitting goal or smashing goal the past 3 weeks to a month, but it's starting to slow down now. So there's that. But we hit over the weekend 12 sales. So Friday through now, we hit 12 sales for $884.39. Ended up selling 2 Xbox One S's. One I had just put up, it sold within hours of putting it up. One I've had up for like 2 months and nobody's messed with it. So I ended that one, relisted it, and what don't you know, within like 12 hours, that one sold too. eBay's just weird, man. I don't understand. Sometimes when I, like the Xbox batteries I had before, I took those off, put them up individually instead of a lot, and those have been selling individually instead of the lot, which the lot was the same price I sold a pair. I had a lot of like 14 of them up, and the same price I sold the pair is what had the whole lot of 14 up for. It was like, why? But I'm not complaining because I sold all of them for this $20 a pop, basically, or $25 a pop for the pair, when I had the whole lot of 14 up for like $25 and nobody touched it. And I remember the Apple keypads I had up, it was like nobody's touched them. I've ended them, relisted them, and then boom, they sold. Like, it was just, eBay's weird when it comes to stuff like that. I don't understand it. It's like, why it's, I don't know. It shows it's got flaws. I'll just say that. It shows, I don't know what it is about that, but I think my buddy's back. You back? Yo. I'm doing my packing and YouTube shit. So I'll be done probably in about 30, 40 minutes. Kelly's inside. You can do your thing. Well, yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, make stuff at home. Do your thing. Too easy. I'll be in a little bit. So yeah, eBay's just weird sometimes, guys. I don't understand it. Anyway, but let's go ahead and get going for the day. We'll start with comments. We got FedEx coming through now. We'll start with comments. Here we go. I'll be honest, guys, this is like the third time I've restarted the video in the first like 3 minutes because UPS stopped by, the mail lady, well, the post office, not my mail lady. The post office has like the package delivery van that comes through that helps the regular carriers on their routes. So they're like an extra during the holidays. That's like an extra. They stopped by. Then I restarted the video because they were taking forever and I was just standing out there. Then UPS stopped by. They were taking forever. I had to restart the video again. Now FedEx looks like they're coming through. If they stop, I don't know. This might be the third or fourth time I got to restart the video. I keep getting thrown off. But anyway, appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Let's start off with comments. Let me go ahead and start with comments and we'll see where we're at. Let's see. We are, I think, that's about where we left off here. So Easy Chaos says, hope you get the feeling better. Yeah, I was feeling a little off Friday for some reason. I was fine, but I just was feeling a little off. We get the same thing with wanting more. We get the same thing with wanting more pictures or measurements on items. The 50, 60 cent deals you leave on the table could at least take a small nip out of the extra 5% you're having to pay. True. I have OCD, so my weights and measurements have to be exact. If things are a little off today, it was Friday the 13th. There you go. Yeah, I most of the time I'm going to say my stuff. I was thinking about that afterwards. I was like, most of the stuff is correct on the shipping. It's only when it's bigger than I anticipated it being, which is not going to be too often. So do I leave 50, 60 cents on the table occasionally? Like, good, they're not stopping. Occasionally, probably, but it's not enough to it's not every package. It's not even 1 out of 10 probably, if I had to guess. So it's like, it's so minimal. It's just not, I don't really care. Now, if it was every package I was leaving 50, 60 cents on the table, trust and believe I'd be reevaluating life for sure. But it's probably not even 1 in 20-ish, give or take, I miscalculate just slightly, and then it's a 60-cent difference or whatever. And on the flip side of that coin, there's in most instances, I'm making the extra $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7 on shipping. So to lose the 50, 60 cents once, I don't know, let's say even every 10 packages, I lose 60 cents because of the miscalculation on the measurement. Those other 9 packages, I made several dollars on each one of them. So it didn't really, I'm not too concerned, but I do 100%. I don't weigh it. I'm sorry. I don't do my measurements unless it's over the 14, 10, 10. Then it changes by dollars, not just cents, the amount it's going to cost for shipping. And then typically in that case, I'm also updating it on the front end when I post it on eBay, because I already know it's going to go in a bigger box than 14, 10, 10. So I don't want to leave money on the table. So, but anyway, that's just that. But yeah, as far as measurements go, both of those folks didn't buy either one of these. The Vikings, the shoes, I knew, and that's why it goes back to my old video, and we've debated about this before. I don't do measurements. I don't. I put up whatever size it is. This is extra large. I put it as extra large. If that was a size 8 men's to 12 men's, I put 12 men's. You want measurements? Don't shop with me. And I know some of y'all are going to chime in the comments. Well, that's a terrible seller, blah, blah, blah. Look, at the end of the day, I'm not taking the extra time to do measurements on all my shit. Just not doing it. If you're that picky about clothes, then I probably don't want you buying from me anyway, because you're going to say that this little something I missed somewhere, a strand of something, what is it called? The not the yarn, but I don't know, whatever. There's some sort of imperfection that I may have overlooked. It's so minor that you're going to use against me to return it. You know what I mean? So I probably don't want you buying from me anyway, because you're that particular about your clothes. So if you're that particular about your measurements and your clothes, which is fine, don't shop with me. I'm okay with that. Shop with somebody else. I don't care. I hate clothes anyway. So, I missed, I don't know. On this one, it looks, I can't find anything that, I may have missed, because this is in pretty damn nice condition. So, but I'm sure somebody that's got an eagle eye would be like, oh, it's got it's a little imperfection in the stitching there. Like, oh my God, are you fucking kidding me? Come on, man. Or there's, oh my God, there's a tiny little, my most microscopic spot here on the very bottom of this thing. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, come on, you can't even see that thing unless you put a magnifying glass up to it. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I'm being animated a little bit and stuff. But what I'm saying is ultimately I don't care. I'm not going to do measurements. We've talked about this before. We can talk about it again if y'all want to. I ain't doing measurements. And that's why I don't give measurements. And 90% of the time, I ignore people asking me for measurements. Why? Because in my experience, just like the last 2 that I went ahead and was like, I'll just bite the bullet. It's Christmas time. Hopefully they buy it. What happened? Didn't hear nothing. Didn't even hear thank you from either one of them. Nothing. They didn't buy it. It didn't result to a cha-ching sale. They didn't even acknowledge and say thank you for the measurements. Unfortunately, it's too small, too big. It's not going to work. Like, nothing. Like, at least if I was getting something back, some sort of feedback, like, well, thank you, unfortunately, blah, 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 it's not going to work. Okay, cool. At least you acknowledge the fact that I sent you the shit. That's my experience, and my experience only. That's what I work on, and that's why I've told you guys, because of my experience with the people asking for measurements, and it hardly ever translating to a sale, I don't even entertain the emails anymore. I just ignore them. I was just nice on these 2 because I just figured it's Christmas time, and heck, maybe they'll buy them, and whatever. And no, it reinforced the fact that I'm not providing measurements when they ask me for measurements, because they're 99.9% of the time, they're not going to translate to a sale. That's that. What size is this? Medium, men's medium. If men's medium doesn't fit you, then this ain't for you. I'm not going to measure it. Not doing it ever again. Well, I'm not going to say ever again, but very rarely do I give the measurements. And again, I know some of y'all are going to be like, you're a terrible seller, blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever. Put me in a box. I don't care. Doesn't bother me one bit. Chime in, whatever you, negative, positive, and indifferent. I don't care. You can let me know how you feel about it, but that's where I'm at, and I'm sticking to it. So, and that's why, because I never get anything back, and it never translates to a sale. So that reinforces why I do what I do. And there's that. The Home Depot houseplant. The Home Depot houseplant. How you doing? Says they, them. They, them. I'm lost. Home Depot houseplant. Suspicious plant is suspicious. Suspicious plant is suspicious. Okay. I'm lost in that. We're just going to keep that one moving. So we're going to keep that one moving. All right. Next one up is Cash Grab. Says, no, I have shit myself crying laughing. Cash Grab, I think it's the first time you've commented, I believe. What did I say that was so funny? I'm glad you shit yourself because you're laughing. I don't know if it was because I said something funny or what. Hey, by the way, can I go to your mom's tomorrow?
No. Because you're gonna stop by and pick up Jersey Mike's on the way and bring it for lunch.
Okay. Okay. Your hair looks good.
Thanks.
What's up with you doing your hair like that?
I don't know. I couldn't find my beach waiver for the longest, and then I realized it was in Lily's dresser drawer, which she supposedly had nothing in. And so I was like, I want to use it.
Well, A, you look comfy, but B, you look good.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Justin's gonna come over with you.
Okay.
Whenever you come over, but I'm gonna go over there shortly.
Okay.
I'm gonna need you to put that thing in my car.
I got you. All right. All right. So yeah, Cash Grab. There you go. Let me know what was so funny. I'm curious. Phantom says, "Get better, Joe. Speedy recovery. Thank you, sir. Happy Friday the 13th. I have dealt with a few sellers on eBay from fake for fake items. One, I knew he was selling fake because he was making them at home. Oh wow. And bought an old Windows 98 game from him. Discs was photo printed on." Shitty quality. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Them old school photo printed discs. I know exactly what you're talking about. Program never ran. Messaged the seller, and he replied telling me the disc worked because he burns them. Oh, that's awesome. I asked him for my money back. He laughed and wrote, "Don't care." Wow. So I reported him to eBay. Email proof of CD and video of disc not working. eBay got my money back and closed the account. Wow, they actually closed his account for. Wow, that's crazy. He had about 50 plus sales, 80 rating. Didn't think he was going to be a troll. Hard for eBay to weed them out. That's true. Flat rate. I'm actually dealing with the guy right now that has like 80% feedback. I should have known not to buy from him. I bought something from him, and he had some good feedback and some bad feedback. At the time I purchased, he had 97%. So I was just like, I mean, it's not bad. It's fine. Since then, he has yet to ship my item since December 1st. The item is just sitting with the pre-authorization tracking. Like he did the label, but he never dropped it off. So it's been sitting there. So I've been watching him, and I've been slowly watching his, I don't know if he died. I don't know. But and I mean that because I'm watching more and more negative feedbacks come in since I bought from him. And I'm seeing more and more no communication, bad seller, not getting my item, this and that. And eBay had to step in to give my refund, all that. And his feedback is down to 80 from when I bought at 97%. Now he's at 80. He's only been on eBay since like September, October. He had like 23 positive feedbacks. And again, he was at 97%. And I looked at the one, it said something about, I forget what the details of the one, because at the time he just had the one negative feedback. But I decided to take a shot. I was like, you know what? It's whatever. eBay will protect me on the worst case scenario. eBay will take care of me. So I was just like, I'll go ahead and give it a shot because they had a good price on this particular item. Well, I've been in communication I have not been in communication. I've been sending him communication and he's not replied to any of my stuff. And again, I've been watching his feedback just continuously go down and more negative feedbacks hit his account. So I'm like, well, I went ahead and opened up an item not received. So I got to wait till like the 18th. I got to wait 2 more days before I can open up and before I can have eBay step in, and then eBay will refund my money. So I'm not like super concerned because I know how it works, but it's like, come on, douchebag. Are you serious? Like outside of like being in the hospital or dying, like, I don't know, man. Like that's the only thing I can assume. Or he's just some douchebag scammer kid. Whatever. I don't know what the deal is, but I'm sure eBay is going to ban his account because the way everything is trending and as many negative feedbacks and stuff he's getting, and and it's a new account, so it's like I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know. Some people are just crazy. I don't know how else to say it. They're just nuts. There's some fucking crazy people out there. Flat rate can be the death of a small seller. Shipping a CRT TV from west to east, vice versa. One solid rating equals eating fistful of USPS and FedEx. I stopped selling international for that reason. Yeah, that's why I don't do flat. And if I mean, I'm tenured enough and experienced enough to be able to do flat on certain things like that because I know generally what it's going to cost, but it's still typically better just to do calculated. And, because it's going to cost what it's going to cost to go to the West Coast, it's going to cost what it's going to cost to go to Puerto Rico, to New York, to Canada, to wherever it ends up selling, it's going to cost what it's going to cost. Now, am I going to pocket a few dollars? Yeah, but at the end of the day, somebody from New York is going to pay less than somebody out in California. And if I have a flat rate on there, I can either screw myself or end up pocketing way more than I should have, which means that person from New York may not even buy it from you because they're like, why the fuck is shipping $50? Because you're anticipating it going the furthest it can and charging the highest you can. And thus the closer people are, you're turning off the close people that live near you that may consider buying that item because you have shipping way too high. Now if you do an average, like what you think, might cost 20 to go here and 50 to go there. So you do an average of 35 or 30. Okay. It's still higher than what somebody close to you is going to pay. So they're still thinking it's going to be a little too much for shipping. And then if it goes West Coast, you're going to eat like $15, $20. In that scenario, you're going to eat a little bit, it going out there, which I'm not trying to eat any shipping costs at all. I mean, I occasionally eat a couple dollars? Yeah, it happens occasionally. Do I leave a few cents on the table every now and then? Yeah. But for the most part, 90% plus of the time, I'm generating a few extra dollars on shipping, which obviously just helps pay for fees and stuff. But anyway, yeah, you're not wrong there, Phantom. And again, thank you for commenting and hanging out. Next one up is Yarina. Yarina says, "Wow, Joe, you went on an extra mile to help me out." Yeah, I did ramble a bit, didn't I? But the 100 miles with the master class, greatly appreciated because you hadn't shown me where to go. Because if you hadn't showed me where to go to turn the discount off, I would have never found it. I was doing a few things wrong. Being one of them, giving that discount. Now I can turn it off. I wasn't making a cent on shipping at all. Learned a lot because I haven't been selling for long. You certainly threw a rain of nuggets at me. Thanks a lot and hope you feel better throughout the week. And crazy Carolina weather don't finally get you. No, I think I'm good. Everything's good. I just wasn't feeling quite right Friday for a little bit. It was more like a headache kind of deal, but I was good. But I appreciate it, and I'm glad I could help out and throw some nuggets at you. A little dark here, aren't I? A little dark. Is my light's on? It's just because my backdrop, I guess. But anyway, I'm glad I could help you out and throw some nuggets at you. Appreciate you commenting and let me know because that's always good to know that it's at least it's not going on deaf ears and actually can help. King Koopa, I think it's the first time King Koopa has commented. King Koopa, thank you for commenting and hanging out. He says, or they say, me too on the measurements. 10 people asked, no sales. I'm not going to rehash that whole thing, but I'm glad somebody's with me. Yes, I don't give measurements. 99% of the time, I'm not going to say 99. 95-ish% of the time, I don't give measurements. I just disregard those emails, those messages, and keep it moving. Don't care. And that's why, because like the last two didn't translate to shit. And that's my experience over the past 8 years of doing this. 95% of people don't even reply back to you when you do give them the measurements. And 99% of the time, even if they do reply back, they don't buy it. They're not buying it. So it's like, whatever, man. I'm not giving measurements. Don't care. The Steve Boyd says, AT&T ruined your professional life, eh? Small world. The Steve Boyd, well, I'm sorry to hear that AT&T ruined your professional life, if that's the case. They didn't ruin mine. The way I left was a whole story. I can go into that maybe I'll go into that now in a second. But the way that I left there was not ideal and was shitty for sure. But my 10 years, almost 11 years at AT&T was a great experience. I enjoyed it. That's why I was there so long. I loved it. I grew a lot there. I learned a lot there. I was in a call center environment, so take it for what it is. As far as some people are like, "Oh, call centers suck," and others are like, "Call center environment's great." It was, for the most part. It depends on who you have as your manager. But I was always in a pretty good position. I was always one of the top performers. I was always doing special projects and off the phone. I was always being looked at to be promoted and things like that. Whenever like manager escalation teams and urgent case teams and higher escalated like teams were being formed. I was always one of the ones that was put in those positions to do, because I was so good. I was a SME. I was very good at what I did. I didn't just stay in the tunnel of customer service. I branched out and learned a lot about a lot of different things within tech support and customer relations and human resource even, and training. And so there was I broadened my horizon and learned a lot of stuff while I was there. And long story short, if anybody's ever been through this before, but we had new leadership come in, and they weren't and sales, we transformed from service to sales, and I was a whistleblower. I was that guy that was going to blow the whistle on people that weren't doing shit the right way. And the new leadership that came in, the new director, didn't quite like that. She didn't like I guess she felt I was being arrogant, my arrogance, and didn't like the fact that I was whistleblowing on people that she looked at being as these high performers and great people, which they weren't really so great people or really so high performers. They were manipulating the systems. And so I got put on a radar. My manager, my area manager, was put out for, because he protected us a lot. Your area manager can really go to bat for you and protect you. Well, my area manager ended up going out for disability, and he had cancer, so he was out for a long period of time. So I had a new area manager that was promoted by her, the new director, that was now over me. So and mind you, I in this time frame, I was in training. I was in what they call new hire training manager. So I was a manager over the new hires. So I worked with training and development when they were going through training. I was in the training class with them, helping and kind of setting them up for what it's going to be like in the real world, because the trainers are very tunnel vision. They only do the training aspect of it, and they don't really know what happens in the real world out on the floor, and I do. And so I was in that process with them, and then obviously they come out to the floor with me, and then I give them the real world, and I coach and develop them for like 6 to 8 weeks until they move on to their regular teams. So obviously performance on a new hire team is always going to be low. It's just nature of the beast. You're going to be a low performer in the grand scheme of things. Now, when I was a regular manager on the regular floor, I was a high performer. My teams were always doing very well. I was always in the top 10-ish%, or fighting for number one a lot of times, but I was always in a top tier on the floor when I was a regular manager. So just kind of give you an overall picture of kind of where I was with stuff. When the new director came in and I got put under this new area manager who, they were close. I'll just say that they were very close. I got put under a magnifying glass. And so I've never had this happen to me until this happened to me. So you hear about it a lot of times. If you've ever been in a working environment where they talk about coach you out of the business. So if you've ever heard of that phrase before, it's basically they, for whatever reason, don't want you around anymore. And it doesn't matter that you're good or bad. It's they don't want you around anymore. So they're going to coach you out of the business. Being a manager for as long as I was, we had to do, I'm not gonna say we had to do that, but if our area manager felt some type of way about certain individuals, they would put you under the fire to coach them out of the business, or we're going to coach you out of the business. It's crazy how stuff works on the back end behind closed doors in management, but that's the kind of stuff that does happen. So essentially, I got coached out of the business because I was a whistleblower when we switched over to sales. And what they used to coach me out of the business was the fact that my performance was not meeting par. So it didn't matter that I'd won Service Excellence Award, which is like a top award at AT&T when I was on the floor coaching and managing regular representatives. I was a Service Excellence Award winner, like not even a year prior to that. And it's like that didn't matter. None of it matters, because once that new director has something in their mind that they are going to coach you out of the business and they don't want you in their center any longer, it's like a new coach coming into a new team. The coach going to feel a certain way about certain players and feel a certain way about other players. It doesn't always matter what your performance is, but they're going to find things to professionally get you out. So they don't so they don't get in trouble basically. And it's not like, and we're at will employment state. They could have just let me go if they wanted to, but AT&T doesn't work that way. It's unionized. The management isn't unionized, but they still work under that kind of umbrella of doing things for the most part the right way. So because there's legal ramifications if they don't. And so anyway, long story short, over a period of 6 months, I was coached out of the business, and that's how I left AT&T. They ended up calling me one day when I was out on leave for my newborn and let me know that I was no longer needed. And they used the fact that they put me on what they call a performance improvement plan, and which is a PIP, I believe is what. So a PIP. So they put you under performance improvement plan, and they have all of these things lined out that you have to do. And if you don't do them, you could lead to the next step. And it's things that are so overwhelming because it's there's a lot to do, but then now it's formalized and all the things that you have to do, and then certain goals you have to hit. Well, in the first, they're only supposed to be a 30-day program at first, or a performance improvement plan or performance action plan. So it was the first step, which is basically the PIP, I think it was. And so it's supposed to be 30 days. Long story short, 30 days comes and goes. I meet everything on the list. My performance is doing, I'm one of the better teams in training because we had like 6 managers in the training program that were managing the reps. So 6 teams. I was like the top 2, I think it was. Maybe I was 3rd, but I was in the top 50% for sure. I was the only, me and one other girl. She was actually last, but I got picked on for some reason. And again, I believe it's because I was targeted, but it's hard to prove that stuff. She was 6th, I was 3rd. I got hit, she got hit. So both of us were on the performance improvement plan. Anyway, they give you this long list of stuff, and you got to hit all these things, and you got to show improvement in your numbers, and blah blah blah. After 30 days, my numbers improved a bit. I hit every mark, checked off every mark on the list. Well, they say, well, we're going to extend this for an additional 30 days, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Why? Well, because we just want to make sure that you're continuing the path of success and blah, 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 blah. But bullshit, regular management bullshit. I was hot. I'm like, okay, fine. So we go another 30 days. And then after that 30 days, they come at me. Again, hit all the stuff, and performance somewhat stayed the same, went up maybe just slightly, like tenths of a points, not much, because they have a scorecard for us that gives us our percentage of what our team is doing. And so I went up maybe a couple tenths of a point, pretty much on the same par as the month before, but again, hit all the points that they needed to hit everything that needed to be done, did all of the stuff that was requested of me. And next thing you know, we're going to extend it another 30 days. I'm like, I was like, come on, this is a joke, right? Like, it's a lot of pressure to be under that magnifying glass, because I see my peers not doing half the shit that I had to do because I was on a performance improvement plan. And so they're able to just lollygag, do whatever the fuck they want, not do half the stuff that I was doing, but yet they're not on a performance improvement plan, so they're not on a magnifying glass, so they can kind of do whatever and be late on this and be late on that and not do all the coaching and developing they need to do, and not, it's just like, but I'm the one that's on the performance improvement plan. It's fine. So I'm under the pressure. I'm under the gun, because if I don't meet what they're wanting me to meet, then you go to the next one, which is the performance action plan. And once you're under that one, I think that's what it's called. Then when you're under that one, you're actually like in trouble. And that's the one that, like, if you don't do what you're supposed to do in 30 days, you're out the business, basically. So after the second round of 30 more days, so now you're going from 60 to 90 day, of 3 months now on this thing, I missed one action item. I forget exactly what it was. It was some sort of, you had to reply to an email with some stuff about your team and some report that you had to do, and I ended up missing it. So they used that to step me to the next one, right? Well, I wouldn't even have been on that I wouldn't have been in that, and mind you, my peers, half my team at that time missed doing that thing, but because I was on that thing, that plan, I'm the one that now I get stepped to the next level. And I'm like, man, this is ridiculous, man. I wouldn't even be on this anymore if y'all stuck to the 30-day, even the 60-day. I wouldn't even be on this thing anymore, and it wouldn't have been a big deal. But because you're trying to step me, what?
Stop bitching about AT&T. The DVD CD player I need you to test is right here.
Okay.
And I need you to hide this Ariana Grande thing.
Who's it for?
Really?
Why don't you take it with you and wrap it?
Oh, anyway,
all right. Hold on. So I wouldn't have. So I missed the one action item, and I would have. Then I went to the next level, and I wouldn't even have been on it if they would have just rolled it off after 30 days. And most managers that were on these performance improvement plans, typically they roll off after 30 days. It was almost unheard of to hear it go 60 days, occasionally, but then for it to go 90 days was certainly unheard of. But yet they were trying to target me and get me out of there and coach me out of the business. So anyway, that's kind of, so my end career at AT&T ended on a sour note for sure, because I ended up cussing out my area manager. I ended up cussing out my director. I was just fed up with it all. And then they used that against me to put in my report to basically get me out of there. I went out on maternity leave or care for newborn. I came back a few times, went back out, came back. And I knew it was coming. The kicker is this. They ended up calling me to tell me they didn't need me anymore. This is the kicker. That whole leadership team, within 9 months of me being let go, within 9 months of me leaving, the director was terminated and let go because I had called the whistle and blew the whistle and started a lot of investigations with HR. And they were finding things because of me and other people that were doing the same thing, because sales is a nasty environment and we were service, we weren't sales. So a lot of the manipulation that was happening was getting caught. They ended up cleaning house. The person above the director and the person above them, they ended up coming in and cleaning house, got rid of the director, got rid of pretty much all the AMs are new in there. We're new, got new area managers and cleaned house. If I would have stayed out for care newborn, I could have stayed out for a year. The fact that I came back and went back and things like that, allowed them to kind of continue my progress with my action plan. But if I would have just simply stayed out after I had my baby and just said, you know what, I'm taking a year off of AT&T because they allow that, and stayed out for my year and they have to hold your job, I would have come back with all new leadership, all new area managers. And my understanding at that point, they probably highly likely would have dropped my performance plan and kind of started a reevaluation and whether I needed to be on it or not, because at that point it would have been all new everybody. And it would have been over a year. And so it was like, man, but then I wouldn't be here. So, but again, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Long story short, there's a lot more to it, but that's the meat and potatoes of it all. Let me move this. Oh, you got it? Oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't that bad, was it? You don't need the top. Just put the top over there. Cool. All right. And that's the VCR?
yeah,
Okay.
and that needs to go in your truck.
Okay. Well, she doesn't use it anymore. You can take it to the store. She ain't gonna sit in it. She don't sit in it no more. Okay. So, she's not. She's tall. So yeah. So that's I'm ranting and raving about my story at AT&T. I've never talked about it before. There's a lot more to it, a lot more nuances and little things that I could get into, and I could talk about it for another 30, 40 minutes, to be honest with you. But basically, that's the nutshell. Is if you ever heard of being coached out of the business, well, unfortunately, I was a victim of that for whatever reason. Highly, highly likely it was because I was targeted by the director. Can I prove it? No. But the interactions you have and the way things go with people and the connections you see with people and how things just shake out and get extended for no reason, because they're trying to look for something to be able to step you to then be able to justify the letting you go part and then the coaching you out of the business part of it. And that's what happened to me. So there's that. And it sucks because, like I said, I probably at this point would have, hell, I very well could have, been at this point either area manager, or I was setting myself up to go into training and methods and procedures, which is out of customer service altogether, but it's still customer service because you're giving them the methods and procedures and training and things like that. So you're still with customer service, but you're at a different level. You're not even under the umbrella of customer service call center anymore. You're doing more like corporate level methods and procedures, building the training programs for them. And, so I was gearing myself up to that because I was working very closely with the training department. So that was kind of the direction I was looking to go into, was that. Who knows where I'd be now? You're talking 7 years later or so. I could have been a area manager in training and development, or methods and procedures, or, hell, possibly even a director. Who knows where things would have led. But I had a very good career there. I enjoyed it. I met a lot of great people, learned a lot of good stuff, learned the whole corporate bullshit about how all that stuff works behind closed doors, seen a lot of ugly things, learned a lot of cool stuff. Has led me to where I am today to some degree, and how I operate when it comes to customers and things like that. So, I'm very good with customers, even though I'm also at an age where I'm going to be me and do me, because I'm not working for AT&T anymore. So I can say fuck you on giving measurements. I'm not doing it. So you can not like me or like me. I don't care. But I do take care of my customers, and I do, pride myself in that kind of stuff. So, that's kind of where my roots are at. Technical support as well, tech support, all that kind of stuff. Learn, fixing things, getting things working again. All cell phone. Everything we did was cell phone related. We started with Singular because I was a legacy Singular employee, because I came in when it was still Singular, and then we went into AT&T. But it was all mobility, all cell phone, and then we started selling when things got nasty. And everything changed, and it got cutthroat, and it got manipulative, and it got gross, is when sales came in for DirecTV, because we bought DirecTV out. And then what we would have to do is transition our calls from taking care of your bill, taking care of your cell phone, getting it fixed, to trying to sell you DirecTV. Okay, too easy. So it just got ugly, and we had to meet sales goals and sales quotas, and have so many DirecTV installs and sales. And it wasn't even just selling a cell phone and a tablet anymore, because that, we did have minimal goals for that kind of stuff when we were just mobility. But once we started selling DirecTV, we supported mobile and had to sell DirecTV, but we didn't know shit about DirecTV. Like, they trained us on just how to sell it. They didn't train us on how it works, the ins and outs, none of it. So the biggest thing that people would manipulate the system with is we had what's called a closer coupon. And I'm going deep, and it doesn't really matter, but I'm already here, so we're here. They had a closer coupon. What a closer coupon was is, hey, you know what? They're on the fence. They're thinking about it, but they're not quite sure. Well, let's close the deal. We'll give you a $200 off your bill, or send you a $200 Visa gift card just for signing over and switching. A lot of times that would seal the deal. Each team only had a certain amount of closer coupons. Now, if one team is doing very good and selling a ton, their manager could ask another manager who still has a bunch, because they're not selling a lot. They could ask them and transfer them. They would actually get the area manager involved and transfer them. Well, a lot of times what would happen is, at many occasions, there'd be no more closer coupons in the call center, because the call center was only allotted so many. So once they're all gone and exhausted, you still got, people selling DirecTV, and they want to close the deal. So they would tell the customers that they're going to get $200 off the bill, or tell the customers they're going to get a $200 Visa gift card for doing it. And then guess what? They weren't going to get it. There was no submission to do anymore. There was no more. They weren't getting their $200. We never got the call for the support on that on the back end, because we didn't support DirecTV. Once you had it, we simply sold it. So obviously, who got those calls? The DirecTV agents that still work for DirecTV, because now they have the service installed. Those calls get routed to DirecTV, and then they got to deal with that customer saying, I got a $200. They were telling me I'd get $200, blah, 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 and they never get it. So again, on our end, we're manipulating numbers now. We're getting more sales because we're telling customers we're going to give them $200, and there's no $200 to be given. And agents would be plain as day on the phone saying this stuff. Their managers were signing off on it, telling them to do it, that they didn't care. We needed the sales because it was cutthroat. It got really cutthroat, nasty, and people were fearing for their jobs, because if they didn't meet these sales quotas, they were very, very aggressive. AT&T was at that time to get these sales for DirecTV. It was coming down the pipe, and it was managers alike, reps, all of them were even the area managers were fearing for their jobs. So what happens in sales, and what happens when that pressure hits, is people start doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing and manipulating. And that was just one example of manipulation. There's many other types of things that they were doing to manipulate the numbers to meet the sales goals, because now they look like they're doing amazing on their scorecard. Oh my gosh, so-and-so's number one. Look at how many sales they have. They have double the amount of anybody else in the call center. Holy cow, they're the greatest manager. But from the director standpoint, that's how it was. They're the greatest manager. They're the best. But us in the trenches know that this manager is doing a bunch of shady shit, and that's why they're where they're at. And so that's when, on my way out, I started making a bunch of calls and to HR and letting them know, doing a bunch of reports to HR on each manager and area managers. So one of the area managers was in on it because I had anyway, it was another long story, but I had a direct interaction with this area manager that was over that manager that was like number one in the call center and knew that he was helping her manipulate, basically. So it was pretty bad. It was very nasty. It was honestly, our call center now that I used to work at has actually changed now again to sales support. So they just support the stores. A store agent calls in and says, I need help with XYZ. They just support the sales now. Sales agents. They don't even, there's no sales quotas anymore. There's none of that. They just simply support the agents in store now that need help across the country. So it's wild how they don't even sell DirecTV anymore. DirecTV is not even part of it anymore. So it's just, again, anyway, I'm rambling and going deep, and I don't need to be going deep, but there's my story, and yeah, take it for what it is. So next one up, the Dark 25 says, hey Joe, shipping part of hey Joe, the shipping part of reselling used to drive me crazy because I would list stuff via sell one like this option and not adjust the measurements. I started not noticing a lot of sellers' measurements are a bit off on items. I guess they're using the method you mentioned in your Joe's knowledge nugget ramble. They do, and if you don't pay attention and adjust the shipping, you will be off by sometimes a lot. Well, and then sometimes they don't have ground advantage; they have priority, and it's like now grounded. So you do have to look at it, put your eyeballs on it, adjust it accordingly. If you know it's going to be on a 14, 10, 10 or lower, adjust the measurements accordingly, and then the weight, and then the carrier option, and at least put your eyeballs on it and tweak it as needed. A lot of them are pretty good or good enough where you're not going to get charged anymore, based on what they already had in there. But there are some that aren't, and then you'll get screwed because then you're like, why am I paying $7? Oh man, it was way off on measurements. It was way off on weight. And you're like, dang, it's because you just copy it from someone else and then you rolled with it and didn't adjust it. So yeah, absolutely. Always adjust and look at it and at least get it within somewhat where you're going to be for your item. And don't always take what other people have. 100%. Same thing with the additional item section. A lot of times in the additional item section, and when you're taking someone else's listing, there's a lot of stuff in there that I don't like to be super specific, because what if it wasn't made in Taiwan, or what if it wasn't the same SKU number, or what if it wasn't the same whatever or color or whatever, or gigabyte or all that. Like, so I clear a lot of those and or just update them to whatever it is for my item, because it may not be exactly the same item, but so you get what I'm saying? So that's another part of it you want to look at, is the additional item section. If you're taking items from someone else, that you look at the additional item section. I a lot of times will tweak the title, tweak the additional item section, tweak the method, the shipping, and then from there I can post it and keep it moving. So, and people also ask me for item measurements. I just put the measuring tape on the item and take a picture and upload it to the listing. That way, if they don't buy it, maybe someone else will, since they see the measurement. Good for you. I'm not doing that, but good for you. I hope you're feeling better. Thanks for powering through and setting and still getting a video up for us. I appreciate that. The Dark 25. Yeah. Do you on the measurements? For me, it's going to be medium, men's medium, and that's it. And keep it moving. So, Blazer McFly, appreciate you commenting. Blazer McFly, I think this is the first time you've commented with us. Blazer McFly says, interested to hear your take. I don't sell much on eBay. I sell on other platforms. This has been the worst fourth quarter sales I've seen in 10 years. It picked up the end of November, and it's been going good till about now. In the past, I feel like it has been better throughout November. October still, even though it's fourth quarter, has always been pretty much the same, or not much different. I have noticed this year the majority of November was still just pretty regular. There was not much of an uptick in November, where in the past there has. Outside of that, I'd say it's been a pretty typical fourth quarter. Obviously, things are going to fall off here in the next day or two. Things will certainly fall off if they haven't already. So I don't know. I mean, I would also consider. I don't know what platforms you're selling on, but I'm hearing a lot of bad things about Macari. I'll just say that. I'm watched a few folks that sell on Macari that are saying that Macari has been very bad lately, and now that they're redoing their fees again, that they're just turning customers off now, and sellers alike again. So because that was the big thing was, oh, there's no fees for the sellers. Well, I mean, obviously you got to take less for your item because the buyer's paying the fees. So that's, it's all pretty relative. But the fact that they've ping ponged and bounced back and forth now, I'm hearing that there's even been some YouTubers that are talking about they may not even be around after 2025, that their sales through there have been worse than they've ever been, and that they'd even be surprised if they're even around next year. Survive through 2025, especially now that the fact that they're changing things yet again. So who knows? I mean, I don't know where you're selling on, but I would say Macari, and I know the Dark 25 I think also sells on Macari. Maybe you can chime in on that, whether your sales have been better or worse for folks that are on other platforms. But for eBay, I'd say it's similar, maybe slightly less, but not a ton less. It's mainly just didn't get the November pop like I was used to. Anyway, there's that. And again, Blazer McFly, thank you for commenting and hanging out. The next one is Log Home. No link to your eBay store. I replied to you, Log Home, and let you know that it's actually under my channel links. So if you go to my channel, under my links, my eBay store is there. So you can click on it and check it out there, actually. So I don't put it in the videos, but if you actually go to the main store page or the main channel page, it's under my links. I got like 4 links in there to, I don't even know, remember what's all. I think my Facebook page too, and eBay, and I don't know. I think maybe my reseller TikTok, which I don't really use much, but things like that. So, and then Jeff is winning. Says, I bought a PS2 game from this guy a few days ago. I looked up, Jeff, which game you bought. I can't remember which one it is now, but I remember we had a conversation about condition, right? And so chime in if you don't mind, because we had a whole discussion about condition, and the condition can be subjective and things like that. I remember your game was minty mint. It was glossy still, and I forget the game it was. But I remember it was one of the ones that I put down as excellent, like new condition, because it was. The disc was mint. The manual, the outside of the case was still silky smooth and shiny. So I put like mint, like new condition, excellent, like new condition. Would you say that I articulated that well? Do you feel that on your end, getting that item, this is cool that I have somebody that's watching. We don't have many folks that end up watching that are actually that come over from eBay, but it's cool that you are, and that we had a conversation about this. So again, let me know in the comments. Did I articulate and describe that game well? Because for me in my seat, I don't see a lot of PS2 games that come across my table that are that nice. And the very few that come from somebody's collection that's just been sitting since they opened it and played very little, you can tell that from the disc to the case it's just beautiful. It's like it was just opened up out of the cellophane. It's been sitting somewhere since 2000, basically. So do you feel that I described that well, and have a good idea? I think I have a good idea on what's considered like excellent, very good when it comes to video game stuff, because I've been doing it for a long time, and based on what I normally see, that game was legit like new condition. It was great. Anyway, maybe I'm wrong, but chime in if you don't mind, because we had a whole video about this and the hot topic of conversation about condition and how it can be subjective. But I feel if you know your niche well, you see enough of the things that you sell regularly, you should be able to determine what's really excellent, like new condition, versus what's just in good or fair or very good condition. And most customers, when they receive it based on your verbiage and the way you articulated it, are going to be cool with what you said versus, well, he said this was excellent, I think this is just good condition. You know what I mean? So I think I do a good job at that. Maybe maybe I don't. I don't know. But chime in, give me your 2 cents on that if you don't mind. But that's all I got for comments. Let's move over to sales. I'm gonna try to keep this under an hour because I ranted and raved about AT&T for no fucking reason at all. All right, 12 sales again, 884.39. 8 sales, 834, 8. $884.39. So first one up was a Xbox One S. I love these things. They sell pretty quick usually. That one that was sitting for 2 months, that doesn't normally happen. Xbox One S. Here we go. We have two of them that sold. This one sold for, this is the one that went for $155. This is the other one. We'll hold off on that one. And then we have the other one. I just put that thing up too, didn't I? I think it's over here. It is right here. Perfect. Beautiful. All right, so this one came with 2 games, both 500 gig, cleaned up really nice. Wireless controller, 2 games. So for $160 plus shipping, And then this one's got a 4 games with it, wired controller, 500 gig, sold for $155 plus shipping. So there's that. I bought this. I'll never buy it again if I see it again. Because I think I'm going to possibly go back. Well, I don't know. With book rate, I won't go back. I shouldn't go backwards. Let's see. Let me grab the other one. All right. So we sold a Mickey Mouse AEX edition. I don't know. This sold for $9 plus shipping. Mickey Mouse AEX came brand new with the tag. $9 plus shipping. I'm sure I picked that up for $1. I wouldn't have paid more for it, I can tell you that. I picked this up just because Minecraft, Minecraft is popular, so I figured I'd pick it up. It's a Minecraft series book series or whatever. Picked it up. I want to say I paid no more than $1 or $2 for it. It sold for $7 plus shipping. Never picked that up again in my life. So I'm not going backwards, but I sure ain't going to make anything off of it like I thought I was. That one's with the case. And that's the camera. So this camera sold. This one should have the manual with it too. Is that the manual for it? Nokia N50. Yeah. I think it's got the battery in it. Yep. All right. So Nokia N50, the shell only with the straps, got the battery and the instructions. It does seem to work when I fired it up and got it going. That sold for, it's going to be a good deal for somebody. That sold for $13 plus shipping. So, I want to say I probably got that thrown in on something, on a deal with some electronics. I don't think I paid for it. And if I did, I probably didn't pay more than a couple dollars because the lenses are typically where the money is. And that's regular film. And I know regular film stuff doesn't go for as much. So I know I'm not in much on it, but I didn't make much on it either. So that was, maybe made a couple bucks when it's all said and done. So that's the one with the box. A Switch sold for $260 plus shipping. $260 plus shipping on the Switch. Let me find it. $260 Switch. It's the one with the box. I think it might be over there. 1 second. I think it's over here. Switch with the box. Oh, yep. I think is that it? Yeah, I think this is it. Okay. So this one sold for $260 plus shipping. It comes with the headset, extra controller, and the original box. So this one had a little bit more to it. But yeah, controller, headset, original box, controller is in there as well, like a clear wired controller, headset, and the box. So I'd imagine somebody's going to give that to somebody for Christmas. Great condition. It's got a case and everything, memory card, screen protector, all that. So $260 plus shipping on that one. Ninja Turtles sold for $34. $34 plus shipping on Ninja Turtles. This is from that deal I just did in Raleigh. So Ninja Turtles with the manual, Ninja Turtles, regular Nintendo. Again, I just got that last week from the deal I went to Raleigh for. $34 plus shipping. Sonic. Sonic sold for $13.50 plus shipping. $13.50 plus shipping. So there's that. No, minus shipping. Free shipping on that one. $13.50 free shipping. Next thing that sold was one of the Prima perfumes finally sold with the lotion and the washing scrub. With the scrub. Let me find this one. Finally, one of the dude, the Avon stuff. I'm not mad at picking up this Avon stuff. It's gonna sell. Shower gel. We need the lotion. Body lotion. Okay. All right, and then something else from over here sold. Oh, the headset. So finally sold the Prima. I've sold everything but the Prima. I was getting a little worried, but the Prima finally sold. If you don't remember, I haven't even put the video out for it, but I had bought all the Avon stuff. So this was a little 3-pack body lotion, shower gel, and the perfume for $30 plus shipping on that one. I have 13 of those left, I think. 13 of those left. So I'm in the green at this point for sure on all that because I've sold several of them so far. So I'm in the green. I've got a lot more to sell. So that's going to end up being a good pickup when it's all said and done. It's going to make a pretty good penny. Headset, Turtle Beach headset for Xbox, sold for 15 plus shipping on that. And then 2 items of clothing. Which one is that? That is the pink medium North Face. Pink medium. I think it's this one right here. That's medium. This one is small, petite, perfect. So this is medium. And then the other thing that sold was the last pair of chemical pants. So I remember getting these chemical pants in a deal with a whole bunch of like Pokemon games and stuff because there was a couple people set up and I ended up getting this. So I've offset a lot of the video game stuff I picked up through that sale. But the chemical pants for military chemical pants, these sold for $19 plus shipping for those. And then a fleece, North Face fleece, sold for $16 plus shipping. North Face fleece. No, they didn't ask me for shipping. Let's take that. It's a little crusty on the collar. I didn't even see it. Okay. Might take a little bit of water to that. Should take that right out. Actually, it's already coming out. All right. So I think, yeah, it's coming out. That's kind of stuff that like somebody would be like, I'm returning it. It had a little crust on the collar, when you can just rub it out and put some water on it and you never even know it was there. So anyway, there's that. So North Face fleece, $16 plus shipping. So that's it. Those are the sales. I got to get the stuff packed up here within the next 30-ish minutes before we head out to Jersey Mike's and go to my in-laws. So that's all I got for you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. I rambled a lot about AT&T. I'm sorry. Again, first time for everything. I think that's the first time I've ever gone into my history of AT&T. A little bit of just a little window glimpse of how I left AT&T. But anyway, that's all I got, and it was all sparked because what's his name said something about it. What's his name? What's your name again? The Steve Boyd. Yeah, I love my time at AT&T. The last 4-5 months was stressful as hell, but I saw the painting on the wall. I saw or 6 was it 6 months I was on all that stuff. Like 5 to 6 months was stressful as hell and was not unpleasant because I was under the radar and under the microscope. But at the end of the day, my 10 years before that was a great time. And so anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Enjoy the rest of the day, guys. Hopefully your sales are still going well, and if not, it's that time of year is all I'm going to say at this point. It's that time of year. Things are going to slow down. That's a given. After Christmas, we might see a little pop. People get money and then buy shop again for things that they want with the money that they got. You know, so we'll just see how things go. But yeah, hopefully we can almost meet goal at least. That's all I care about between now and the end of the year. As long as we can weekly for the next couple weeks still at least meet goal, or 1,000 plus would be nice. I'll take it. So that's all I got. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Assuming we have sales, we'll see me tomorrow. And have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Monday. Bye, everybody.